Hi, my name is Jad, and today I will bring you along my whole process of designing an app with the help of AI. I'm going to be using Claude for requirements and ideation, and then I'll be using UXPilot and FigJam for creating diagrams and wireframes. Then we'll jump into Visily for UI design and prototyping. You can use all of these apps I mentioned for free, but with limited usage, so make sure you follow along in order to plan exactly what you're going to need to get out of these apps without getting over that limit of usage. So if you plan well, you're going to be able to do everything for free. In my previous videos, I covered the UX and the research phases using AI, but today we'll be focusing on UI only to help you convert your ideas into design and interactive prototypes that you can share with people and demonstrate your ideas. So this is like the process of creating an MVP or a proof of concept for an app. I'm not going to cover all of the use case scenarios, just the main idea, the main pages, and the main interactions. Let's kick it off. All right, so first of all, I need requirements. So I asked Claude to pretend to be a client and to give me requirements for a project. And I kept the request vague just so that it creates something very random. So I said, I'm a UI UX designer and you're a client. Give me requirements for a new project. And these are the requirements that it gave me. It's giving me requirements for a premium meal delivery service. It's giving me here the target audience, the core features, the design preferences, technical requirements, key user flows, selling points, and then budget. So first of all, I'm gonna go into FigJam in a free account and I'm gonna launch the UXPilot plugin. I'm also on the free plan in UXPilot. I'm gonna click on diagrams and then I will paste all of the requirements within the prompt field. So I'm just gonna copy the requirements that affect the design and the UI. I don't need to give it the target audience or the budget or the selling points. Maybe only the rate and review meals feature. This is a feature that should go somewhere in here. I'll copy everything from point 2 till point 5, paste it here. I also don't need the design preferences. I'll remove iOS and Android and I'll add rate and review meals. So we have the core features, the payment and push notifications, and then we have onboarding, meal selection, checkout process, delivery tracking, and rating. I'll click generate. All right, there we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna organize this chart a little bit just so that it's not very wide. I want it to look a little bit square. All right, so now I'm gonna copy this board, maybe as a PNG or export it and then import it into Claude. All right, so I attached the PDF here and I'm gonna say based on this chart, give me a summary of the pages and their content. All right, so it recognized that it's a meal delivery service and it gave me 6 pages and their content. So I asked Claude to create the list of pages and their content because I'm gonna ask it to assist me with the wireframe in the next step. So now I'm gonna jump into the wireframe phase. I'm gonna do it in UXPilot. So I'm in the web platform of UXPilot right now. In the step before, I used UXPilot in the plugin in FigJam. Right now, I'm gonna use their web platform because they can create wireframes in the web platform and it's free as well. You have a certain amount of credits. I have 7 wireframe credits left, which means I can create 7 pages and I only need 6, so that's good. But I'm going to be very careful in terms of the requirements that I need inside of every page. So for context here, I'm saying mobile app and meal delivery service. Then I'm going to add my flow here. So for the first screen, I'm going to grab what Claude gave me, which is a dashboard, but it doesn't have much detail in it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ask Claude to create a wireframe for the homepage, but I won't use it. I'll just use it as a reference to tell you UXPilot what to include in the wireframe because the wireframes out of Claude are not usable. So I'm going to say create a wireframe for page 1. So this is what Claude gave me. I'm going to use these screen elements to tell UXPilot to include them in the homepage. Alright, so for the first page, I asked for a homepage dashboard includes button to plan meal, section for today's meals, and fitness summary. And then tab bar includes my meals, schedule, fitness, and profile. That's the first page. I'm gonna add another screen here. I'm gonna go back to Claude. The second screen we have customizable meal plans. So I'm just gonna ask Claude to do a wireframe for page 2 now. So I'm gonna copy the info of page 2. And then I'm just checking the differences between the requirements and the wireframe that Claude gave me, so that if there's any elements that I created in the wireframe, I want uxPilot to create those. There's a generate meal plan button at the bottom. It doesn't mention that in the requirements, but I need to mention that to uxPilot, so I'm gonna mention everything that I see on the screen. Gonna do the same for the rest of the pages. You can definitely just copy the requirements from Claude inside of uxPilot and see what it gives you, but I just want to be more accurate, so I'm asking Claude to create those wireframes first so that I can have an idea of the content of the page. Okay, so there's no differences between the wireframe and the requirements, so I'm just gonna copy them as they are for page number 3. For page number 4, okay, there's not much difference as well. So the only thing that I needed to do this for is the home page, and the rest of the pages are detailed enough. But Claude didn't give me enough info for the home page, so I had to see the wireframe. But for the rest of the pages, I think I'm good with just copying the info from Claude to uxPilot. Alright, so I have my 6 pages inside of uxPilot now, and I'm just gonna hit generate. Alright, here's the result. So I'm creating the wireframes in uxPilot because in my experience, I found out that it's much more accurate than Visily with creating accurate content for your requirements. So what I'm gonna do now is I will take a screenshot of every screen here and paste it in Visily to convert it into UI. So I'm just gonna copy the first screen now. And in Visily, I will go to screenshot to design and I'll paste it here and it's working. I'm gonna change the theme. I will select the theme that I have in Visily right now, and then I can edit it later. I'll do the same for all the rest of the screens. Here we go, now I have my 6 screens inside of Visily. So they have this new button at the bottom here in Visily where you can chat with AI to modify your design or do anything related to AI tools. Alright, so now that we have the design in Visily, we're gonna work on the design itself. First of all, I'm gonna start with the navigation to make a consistent tab bar at the bottom of the design. So in my design here, I have the home page, which is the dashboard, and it's called My Meals. And the meal planner will be a secondary page under this one. So it will not have a button in the tab bar. The second page will be the order tracking. Third page is schedule deliveries, then fitness, then account. So we need 5 buttons in the tab bar. We'll work with the first tab bar we have here to make it a component that we can add to every page. So I'm gonna add 1 here. Now we have 5. So now I'm gonna save this element so that I can use it on all the pages. I'll call it tab bar. And let's say navigation category and enable syncing, yes. So that if I make changes to it later, it will apply to all of its instances. So for the second page, I'll just go to my saved elements here. And I'll bring this one. And in this instance, I want the second page selected. So this one is not going to be selected and this one is selected. And this secondary page here does not need a navigation bar, but it needs a back arrow. So I'll do icon button here and I'll make it transparent and the icon will be back. So now I'm gonna go to every page and see the contents if there's any elements missing or any elements that I don't need. So it's just like auditing every page and going through it, seeing if it makes sense. So this is a title that they generated. So it's like the logo. I'm gonna put the logo in the middle here. I'll add the photos later. Here I want to add a photo for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'll do that later. Now I'm looking at the elements and the content of every page. All right, so I have this element that shows up when this is open, and I will add that in the prototype later. So I'll leave it on the side here. All right, so for this one, I'm gonna grab a pre-made list here that looks better. I'll just make sure that the size is correct. So now we have the complete wireframe and high fidelity design, but this will need a lot of work more than this in terms of more scenarios and what happens when you interact with each element and with each process, how the process of ordering works. That needs a lot of work. But what we're doing right now is an MVP, proof of concept. You can present this as your product. And to do that, we're going to create a prototype, an interactive prototype, so you can present the app in action. You can do that in Figma or in Visily. I'm going to use Visily because they improved their prototyping features. I'm going to give it a try. I'll click on prototype at the top here. And now I can assign an action for every element. So I want this to go to this page. And on the side here, I can define the interaction. Slide left because I need it to be entering the screen from the right side. And then when you click back, it should slide right. So the back will bring me here and slide right. So for this one, I need this to hover. Let's see how that works. On click, open overlay, select target. So I'm going to select this. And I want it to show at the top, or no. If the source element is in the middle, I want it to show below it in the middle. Zero distant. Let's say instant. Okay. Let's hit play to test this one. There we go. It works, but it doesn't close. Okay, so the overlay feature worked, but it opens the dropdown, but it doesn't close it. So if you click back on the main element, it doesn't close the pop-up. It just opens the pop-up, and in the action, there's only open, overlay, or pop-up. So I guess the prototyping features are not very fleshed out in Visily yet, but you can create your prototype in Figma with no issues. So for now, in Visily, I'm going to create a separate page that looks exactly the same with the pop-up open, and then it will navigate to that page when you need the pop-up to open. And if you need to close it, it will navigate to the previous page. And that should work. Open, close, open, close. Perfect. All right, we have our prototype ready. Plan your meal will allow me to open this page. You can go back here. You can go to your orders, schedule, fitness, and account. Now the tab bar is hidden on some pages because they're longer. Let's see if we can fix them. Okay, so there's no way to fix the tab bar on scroll, so you're gonna have to scroll down to find it, but that's fine for the purpose of demonstration. And there we go, we have a proof of concept, an MVP if you will. You can open this prototype on your mobile and showcase it to people and interact with it. Now let's try to make the design a little bit more appealing. So as you can see, clearly AI cannot serve you with a perfect design yet. I personally still prefer to do the manual work rather than prompting the AI back and forth until you get the perfect design. But I do find it very beneficial for starting off a project from a blank page and figuring out the requirements. So I guess our jobs are still safe for now. Alright, I hope this helps you converting your ideas into design. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll answer everything down in the comments. Thank you for joining. I'll see you in the next video.